And we also welcome in our crime analyst and a former SWAT team member, Lisa Lockwood. Lisa, great to have you on as always. We'll start with you. It does look like George Wagner is a bit irritated right now on the stand. What do you make of this latest line of questioning as the prosecution is going hard about the family dynamic with his son and then the mother?
We're learning a lot. That's without a doubt. The dynamic of paranoia, his feelings toward Jake. We already knew that they didn't get along, but now we're finding out something that really hurts his credibility. The fact that he was angry Jake would always tell the truth. So he would divulge things in their youth and screw everything up. So here we are, fast forward decades later, where we have a murder and Jake has taken the stand and allegedly, according to his own brother, George Wagner, he tells the truth and screws everything up. So that's the piece that I found very revealing right now, because he wanted him to get rid of evidence. He said he wanted him to do that, to get rid of the computer files, any kind of digital documentation, and Jake didn't do that. So again, this doesn't help him. It implicates him even more.
Well, Lisa, what do you think of this credibility issue here? Do we believe George, or now do we believe Angela and Jake?
I like the line of questioning from the prosecutor bringing up the fact that when he was at the border and he made those statements, were you lying at that point? And he couldn't save himself. He said, I don't remember what I said. Well, you would remember if you lied or not. That was his points where he could have redeemed himself and said, if I told the border agent that at that time, there was no reason for me to be lying. And instead, he's skirting the issue completely and saying, I don't remember what I said at that point. So you could have been lying, yes or no. So we didn't get that answer.
All right, as they're in a bit of a sidebar there, Lisa, do you think the prosecutor successfully impeached Wagner on some of his testimony there?
Him saying that he doesn't remember is not an actual impeachment, because how are you going to prove what he remembers happening? What made sense and what is logical doesn't necessarily mean that he's guilty. Would it be logical that Jake would drive there with his father on the same day and they all bought weapons that day? That would be logical because it's an hour and a half away from where they live. The fact that he doesn't remember, that's a hard thing to prove, whether or not he was there, because he goes to gun shows all the time with relatives, with other people. But when you just think about, the living situation and they're all together and it's a big gun show, it's an hour and a half away, you would think that they would commute together. So I don't think that there was an actual impeachment on that.
All right, let's quickly break this all down before we wrap up here. Ladies first, Lisa, what are your final thoughts on what you've been seeing?
He's really hanging on to the I don't remember, kind of as the excuse to not implicate himself in any way. From simple things of dyeing his hair with Jake, he's agreeing that his uncle said, you guys look ridiculous, but he has no memory of dyeing his hair. So he's basically telling us that he did dye his hair because his uncle did say that, and he does have memory of it, but he refuses to give us those little tiny pieces that we need to know. So I'm growing weary of it. I would imagine that the jury is as well. It's just his form of denying it without actually denying it.